People are understanding something, are bringing peace in their lives. And you can be a part of the magic regardless of where you are.
Your Royal Highness, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you here today for this very special event entitled 7 Billion Reasons for Peace. My name is Anne Edwards, and it is my honor to be your MC today. The purpose of today's function is twofold: to celebrate the importance of peace and International Peace Day with insights from our distinguished speakers, and to confer upon our keynote speaker, Mr. Prem Rawat, a Brand Laureate International Lifetime Achievement Award. Our first speaker this morning is Tan Sri Datuk Dr. Ahmad Mustafa Babji, who is Senior Fellow of the Academy of Science, Malaysia, a passionate naturalist and advocate of environmental conservation. He has over half a century of experience in government, corporate NGO, academia, and international organizations. Now, he is currently chairman of UBM Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome Tan Sri Datuk Dr. Ahmad Mustafa Babji.
I'm honored and humbled to be given the privilege to express a special warm welcome and deepest appreciation on behalf of the Brand Laureate to His Royal Highness, Tuanku Raja Nazrin Shah, for gracing this morning's function. To our key speaker, His Excellent Prem Rawat, our thanks for making your stop again in Kuala Lumpur as part of your unending journey to spread and sow the seed of peace. Just as warm a welcome to all the audience who are here because you believe in peace. Now, there are many causes to anger, violence, and war, as there are many solutions to peace. Ironically, every nation appears to be turning to destructive technology to ensure peace. I think we should try something else. But this environment today is a very complex environment where the young mind is bombarded from all angles with virtual peace or war. In nature, different species coexist, share, and recycle the resources. Sadly, we created our own ecosystem based on dominance and consumption by a single species, leading to instability and non-sustainability. The road to peace is not easy, but we must persist in trying. You and I have to be one of the 7 billion reasons for peace. May I suggest the yardstick for progress be measured by the number of days of peace and not GDP. To our renowned guest speaker, our heartfelt gratitude for slotting your time to initiate some soul-searching and transport us into the heart of peace. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
In 2010, he was deservedly nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Prem Rawat.
Your Royal Highness, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a little bit taken aback because I didn't know those numbers. I travel, I go places, I bring this message of peace. And to me, it's an effort of a lifetime. not one day. I don't really think in terms of retirement. So for me, it is something that I have been doing since I was a little boy. But I am so privileged to be here and to be in this wonderful company of people who are interested in peace. I'd like to begin with a story. Now, the story is from India at the time of Akbar. And I don't know if these things actually happened, but they have been added on, and it was this fellow Birbal, and there was this synergy between Akbar, the emperor, and Birbal. Birbal was quite smart, and Akbar always liked to test him, to test his wisdom. So one day, being the emperor, Akbar had a whim, called a Birbal, and he said, I want you to find me 5 idiots, 5 fools. Birbal was shocked. This was a request he had never heard of before. So he said, okay, I'll go and try to find you 5 fools. Birbal was very perplexed. Where am I going to look? Where am I going to search? And I'm not trying to entertain you with this story. There's a point to this story, but I'll get to it. And he was searching and searching and searching, and how am I going to find 5 fools? Well, sure enough, as he was waiting around, he saw a man riding on his donkey with a huge load on his head. And he's carrying the load on his head, and he's sitting on his donkey, and they're going along. And this looks like quite a strange sight. So Birbal stopped the guy and said, what are you doing? And he says, listen, I like my donkey. I love my donkey. My donkey works so hard for me. So I am carrying the load, and I'm merely sitting on the donkey, so my donkey won't be so overloaded. Birbal said, could you meet me tomorrow? I need to talk to you. Birbal was quite pleased with himself, but he still had a few more to go. And he waited around for a little while, and he saw a guy, and he's lying on the ground. He's moving his legs. His hands are fixed like this. And Birbal went to him and said, what are you doing? He says, well, get me up. First, get me up. So Birbal helped him, pulled him up. He said, now tell me, what were you doing? Lying on the ground, moving your legs, and your hands are like this. He says, listen. My wife is renovating our bedroom, and she wants some new curtains. So she told me that she needed curtains this big. And I don't want to disappoint her, so this is the measurement. And I don't want to move it this way or this way. But as I was walking towards the store, I fell down. I couldn't get up because I couldn't lose the measurement. And that's why you saw me this way. He says, could I talk to you tomorrow? Could you meet me? So now he's looking for another fool. It is late in the day, and he sees a man searching by the streetlight. He's on his hands and knees, and he's searching, and he's searching. And Birbal said, what are you doing? He said, well, this afternoon, me and some of my friends were in the jungle, and we were having a picnic, and I lost my ring. but I'm looking for it. What's wrong with that? He said, but you lost the ring in the jungle. Why are you looking for it here? He says, don't be an idiot. This is where the light is. If I look for it in the jungle, it's dark, but here there's light, so I'm looking for it here. He says, can I talk to you tomorrow? Can you show up? Anyways, with these three fools, Birbal went to Akbar and said, I found the fools you were looking for. Narrated the story for the first one, the second one, third one. And Akbar said, well, that's only three. He said, sire, I'm the fourth fool. Because I was looking for fools. I got to be a fool. And Akbar said, and the fifth one? So, sire, that's you asking for it. Now, the reason why I told you this story is because, in a sense, and I was hearing this documentary of Stephen Hawking, Dr. Stephen Hawking, and he was talking about the universe, and it went on and on and on and on and on, and finally kind of said, well, universe is right here. It's in your perceptions. I've been saying that. I've been saying to people, how big is your problem? People think they have enormous problems. I say, no, your problem is this big. This is the size of your problem. Today, we talk about peace. And many people have already come to the conclusion that it is impossible. It cannot happen. Well, maybe those people belong in one of the three categories. Who've lost the ring in the jungle and are looking by the lamp. Maybe we're looking for peace in the wrong place. So the peace indeed has to begin with us. If there is a house and it's flooding because somebody left the garden hose on and it's flooding, what is the first thing you need to do? The first thing, in my opinion anyways, turn the hose off. Because if you're just going for the buckets, you're going to be doing that for a really long time. Turn the hose off, and then every action you take from then on will help alleviate the situation, not add to it. People have already decided there's too much greed in this world. And is there? Of course there is. The other day I was reading an article, and in this article it said, success comes from failure. I have a very strange brain. My brain said, where does failure come from? Already, we have resigned ourselves. We've got to have failure to have success. My God. That is a frightening thought. I mean, one of the things I do is I fly airplanes. That's a frightening thought for a pilot. For this flight to be successful, we're going to have a crash today. Because maybe improvement comes from failure only if somebody applies it Wars have been going on, and has anybody learned from them? Only one thing. Only one thing. Only one thing has been learned from wars is how to make a better war. That's what happens. Forget it. This is not an option. One of the beautiful things, I received an email a few weeks ago. This peace education program is being incredibly well received by the returning war veterans from the wars in Afghanistan. Young kids whose lives have been totally turned around, who see no hope, are now looking within themselves and finding a source of hope. I have talked to those prisoners. And what do they have to say? That in this hopeless situation, which a prison is, they have been able to find hope inside of themselves. Where's human being in this whole equation? Where is human being in the whole equation? Thrown out. Not required. Not wanted. Too trivial. I see 7 billion faces crying for peace. If anybody in this world has a question as to what the 7 billion people on this earth want, I have an answer for them. I have an answer for them. They want peace. Because they know once they have peace, prosperity follows. Can't help it. Prosperity shows up. And this is what people want. I've seen it in their faces. This is why it is important to me to go country to country, to go village to village, and look at the eyes of the people and know what they want. People are already caught up in their solutions. Will they change this? No. Even they can't walk. That's not a problem. So far, this doesn't change. This is the ideal curtain length. That's why I told you the story. In a sense, should we be having peace conferences? In a sense, should we have all these institutions for peace? No. Absolutely not. I mean, there is no organization called Wear Warm Clothes in Winter Foundation. Is there? Drink water when thirsty foundation. Sit down when tired foundation. Go to sleep when sleepy foundation. I don't see any difference. Peace is fundamental. And that's how fundamental I see peace. When you are hungry, where does your focus go to? Food. Why? Have you ever sat down and wondered at the mystery of why you think of food when you are hungry? I mean, don't you think we should have a debate on this subject? Why do you think of water when you're thirsty? Why? Because that is your fundamental calling. Need for peace is a fundamental calling, not a luxury. Not a luxury. It is not an option. It is considered an option. Oh, well, yeah, we'll have peace after this war. Somewhere, we threw out intelligence. I very much agree with what Dr. Mustafa was saying. Simple things, we have thrown them out the window. What is it called? Mutual assured destruction. MAD. How am I going to make peace? Well, I'll threaten you so much that you won't do anything. And the other person said, well, I'll threaten you too. Okay, good. We'll threaten each other so much. Can you imagine what the state of a country would be if neighbors took to that? It'd be ridiculous. There was a neighbor, next door neighbor, the dog was barking and barking and barking and barking and barking and barking and barking. So he looked at his wife, like, this is terrible. She goes, well, what can we do? He says, I've got an idea. So he went, he took the dog, brought it into his yard, and tied it. And he said, now let's see what they think. Because it is their dog. In the same way, we cannot, as society, survive. We have to make amends. We have to learn how to give, how to take. And this boils down to one thing that I was thinking about coming here. Each one of us can create a little bit of heaven. And if we pledge not only for creating a little bit of heaven for ourselves, but a little bit of a heaven for the people we love, at least begin with that, our family. Can father create a little bit of heaven for his son? Can a husband create a little bit of heaven for his wife? Can the wife create a little bit of heaven? A little bit of heaven. For their children. And children creating a little bit of heaven for their parents. And a neighbor creating a little bit of heaven for his neighbor. Not big, not giant, but just a little bit of heaven. Little bit of heaven. Then I know we wouldn't be looking towards heaven after death, but enjoying it whilst we are alive on this earth. This is about peace. Peace is about heaven on earth. Peace is about good times. Peace is about enjoying life. Peace is about not destruction, but construction. Constructing things, constructing technologies. I like technology. And I definitely agree with Dr. Mustafa that all this speeding up really doesn't do anything. I mean, if you really fall in love with somebody, you don't want to say in like, I mean, can you imagine somebody who loves you comes to you? No, you want to hear every word. Can you imagine a song that comes on. You just heard the whole song. I mean, I don't think they'd be giving out awards. Can you imagine the whole movie? It's done. No. There are things we want to savor. There are things we want to enjoy. This is human. We're human beings, and we have something that is going on with us, and it's called humanity. And if we forget the humanity, forget it. Forget it. And that's exactly what is happening. Human beings are forgetting humanity. You will never find a chicken emulating a human being. Never. But a human being emulating a chicken, I have seen it, and people think it's really funny. What is this? This is upside down. Because really, we are simple people. We are a gift. We are a gift of millions and millions and millions and billions of years of experimenting. It's like the most special flower that went through and through and through from some amoeba in the warm waters of the ocean to something that can smile, that can give, that can learn, that can understand, that can prosper, that can embrace, that can feel, and most importantly, make a little bit of a heaven for someone else, as well as for us. This is not an accident, but something that through so much processes is made possible today. There's the Hubble telescope is out there, the other new telescope is out there. They are looking and 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 looking, and they haven't found one single banner saying, "Hey, Earthlings, over here." I'm not saying they're not there, the aliens. They may be. They just haven't found them. Till then, guess what? It's just us. And if we cannot get along, then heaven help us. What are our dividing lines? Oh my God. Oh, by the way, if you're an SMS, that's OMG. Oh my God. What are our dividing lines? Our dividing lines, believe it or not, are the very things that are supposed to unite us. They now divide us. How can this be? Can you imagine a glue that undoes? Call it anything else but a glue. What is our division? You speak Hindi, you speak English, and I say, but you say the same things in Hindi or in English. You say the same things. I love you, I hate you. It doesn't matter what language it is. You are so-and-so, you are so-and-so. Give me food, give me water. And everybody has it. No, yes, good, bad, right, wrong. We say the same thing, but we say, oh, language, you speak a different language, you're different. No, you're not. You look different, you're different. I'm glad people look different. It would be the case of bad iPhones. I mean, is this mine? Is this yours? I mean, already that's causing a problem. I'm glad we look different. I'm glad we speak differently. These are not the dividing lines that should be. But we should be unified in the understanding of peace. Because peace is possible. Why peace is possible? Why peace is possible? Because it begins with each one of us. There's a favorite story I have, and I'll tell you that little story, and then I'll finish up. I'm going to really accelerate this. So, there was a man, and he used to go around village to village exhibiting his skills at archery. He was really good. He'd shoot his arrow, bullseye every time, split the arrows. I mean, he was really good. As he would go, he would show his talent, people would applaud, things were great. One day, he went to a village, and he was showing his talents. And right after everybody would applaud, he heard this one man at the very end going, it's just a matter of practice. It's just a matter of practice. And this really infuriated him to no end. After his exhibition was over, he walked over to the guy, and what does he see? There is this man. He sells oil. He's got this big bamboo, big pot in front, big pot of oil in the back, and a bunch of bottles, empty bottles. He goes, are you the one saying it's just a matter of practice? Just a matter of practice? He says, yeah, it's just a matter of practice. I mean, they're all applauding because of your skill, but it's just a matter of practice. He says, no, I'm so talented. It's not a matter of practice. The old man said, okay, wait a minute. Let me show you something. If you're so talented, let's see if you can do this. So the man took an old coin. The old coin used to have a hole in them. He took the old coin, he put it on top of the bottle. He lifted this huge pot of oil and poured this oil through the coin into the bottle without spilling a drop. Then he turned to the archer and said, now you try it. You do that, and you have become good at it. I do this, I have become good at it. My question after that story is, whatever you do, you will become good at. What do you do? Are you good at being upset? Because then that's what you practice. Do you question everything? Do you question everything and find no answer? Because then if that's what you practice, that's what you will get. If you practice finding answers, then you will start to become good at finding answers. People are not good at looking at solution when it comes to peace. What is happening in the Middle East? What is happening in America? What is happening in South America? What is happening, oh my goodness, what's happening in every single continent? There is a war. Not necessarily with guns and bullets, but going on here. Because that's what we have gotten good at. That's what we practice. It is time to practice peace. It is time to practice consciousness. It is time to practice kindness. It is time to practice embracing each other. And then, maybe, by the grace of God, there will be peace on this earth. I hope so, because the time has come. It is time not to pretend to be intelligent, but to be intelligent. It is time not to pretend to like peace, but to like peace. It is time not to pretend to have peace, but to have peace. Thank you very much.
It is now my pleasure to welcome to the podium the President of the Asia Pacific Brands Foundation, Dr. K.K. Johan, for the presentation of the Brand Laureate International Lifetime Achievement Award. Please welcome Dr. K.K. Johan.
This morning, as I stand here, I'm very honored and humbled, and yet under tremendous pressure after hearing the two great speakers who spoke before me. The message from Tan Sri is so intellectually spoken, and the message from Prem Rawat is so profound. I want to make sure that this citation is intellectually profound. Every word that is said today, it comes out from the depths of my heart. Mr. Prem Rawat did not just win the award. He earns the award. He is most deserving and worthy of all. Mr. Prem Rawat, you have given so much. You have done so much for us. You have so sacrificially given your life and your all in promoting peace to the world. Your message of peace has inspired, has impacted, and has influenced the lives of millions of people around the world. And for that, from the depths of our heart and our people, we want to say thank you, terima kasih, kanse, nandri to you. Mr. Rawat, your speech this morning is very enlightening and awe-inspiring. I am touched, I'm challenged. Yes, peace is a goal we can never let out of our sight. We can never take it for granted. Peace is the reason for our existence and our coexistence with one another in this world. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We must all support and say yes to peace as long as we live on this earth. Allow me just to tell you a little bit about who we are. The Asia Pacific Brands Foundation, APBF, is the world's first and foremost branding foundation. Through our work, we honor statesmen, leaders, and captains of industries who have achieved great eminence for their contribution to the development of their countries, organization, and the world at large. They are visionaries and catalysts of change, defining and benchmarking the standards of thoughts and excellence. Among these personalities and leaders, we have bestowed this award to the late Steve Jobs, Sir Cliff Richard, Sir John Majeski, Lord D.B. Jones, Dr. Philip Kotler, Dr. Edward de Bono, Nobel Prize winner, Professor Dr. Robert Fry Engel, Professor Dr. Farid Burat, and many, many more. Please log on to our website for more information, www.thebrandlaureate.com. As to date, there are only 4 who have attained the highest honor of the Brand Laureate Hall of Fame Lifetime Achievement Award. They are His Excellency Nelson Mandela, U.S. Secretary of State, Senator Hillary Clinton, the President of Austria, Heinz Fischer, and His Excellency Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. I'm very proud as the President of the Foundation today. Adding to this esteemed list is another great man, the Honorable Maharaji Prem Rawat. Mr. Prem Rawat has used his brand, he is a brand, as a force for good. In support of the ultimate goal of dignity, peace, and prosperity, he sets up the Prem Rawat Foundation to address shortfalls in the provision of basic necessities in some of the world's most impoverished regions, especially for the poor and the marginalized. By the end of 2010, Mr. Prem Rawat's foundation has made 116 grants to 8 people in 34 countries on 5 continents. This is an achievement of great magnitude, and we salute you, sir. as someone who does not compromise on his principle, displayed tremendous resilience against pressure, and ultimately put the needs of humans and of humanity first. Prem Rawat is a man who is worthy of anyone's admiration and truly a guiding light for peace and humanity. His immense contribution in championing and promoting global peace, for believing in peace on earth and peace for everyone, for teaching us that peace is possible and to give peace a chance. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, the Asia Pacific Brands Foundation is so pleased and proud to confer to the one who is so deserving the Brand Laureate Hall of Fame Lifetime Achievement Award, to this honorable, legendary, the one and only Maharaji Prem Rawat, the Ambassador of Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to give him a standing ovation, a thunderous round of applause as the world's peace icon who is worthy of such an honor. Yes to the man, yes to his message, yes to his mission, and may God bless you, Mr. Prem Rawat.
We would like to invite His Royal Highness Raja Dr. Nazrin Shah Ibn Sultan Azlan Muhibbuddin Shah to present the award. It gives me great pleasure to invite Mr. Prem Rawat to receive the Brand Laureate International Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thank you so much. I'm very touched by the whole ceremony today. And of course, the possibility of His Royal Highness to be here and all the excellencies and distinguished guests. I accept this not only just for me, but for every single voice that stands for peace on the face of this earth. I am but just one little voice. My voice becomes big when all the other voices join me in this song for peace. This award being presented in the field of peace is for all those voices that have stood for peace in the past and will stand for peace in the future till peace becomes a reality. So thank you again. Thank you very much.